right, everyone, we have a jam-packed, and I mean absolutely jam-packed show for you today. Yes, folks, we do have a leak for a game for the upcoming Nintendo Direct that is, well, rumored, leaked, whatever, to be happening next week, according to, well, let's see, Zach from Switch Force, Nate the Hate, Attack the Backlog, Nash Weedle, etc., etc., etc. It seems to be pretty locked in. We're getting a Direct next week, and we know one of the games that's supposedly going to be in it because the company themselves accidentally leaked it, then deleted their comment, and it is what it is. So we kind of have all the confirmation we need. There's going to be a Direct next week outside of Nintendo announcing it, which we know Nintendo announces, partner showcases and or general Nintendo Directs 24 hours before they do it. That being said, we have some other news to go over as well. Capcom had their financial report come out. We're not going to go over the whole thing, but we are going to cover a few key metrics and stuff that you guys might want to know about. How many game developers they have now, how well their games are doing. Games, obviously, that might be coming to Switch 2 soon. Stuff like that. We also have to go over some Virtual Boy stuff because Nintendo announced the launch lineup for the Virtual Boy coming soon. We also have some new soundtracks being added to Nintendo Music. We have a rumor, leak, whatever you want to call it, out there for WWE 2K26. It is coming to Switch 2 day and date, and there's going to be some information there. Kirby Air Riders actually got a new mode added to the game, which is interesting since Sakurai said it was content complete and these kind of updates wouldn't exist. And then here's Sakurai, even though he just said the team's going to be disbanded soon, still adding content to the game. The guy just can't stop, can he? We have an update as well for Splatoon 3, believe it or not. Out of nowhere, getting a new update with some pretty major changes. And beyond all of that, we have some games leaked for GameCube NSO thanks to Walmart. That's right. Walmart is, if you know anything about Walmart in the past, they've kind of become one of the number one retail outlets for leaking things for Nintendo. It's kind of weird. Anyways, guys, we're going to go ahead and dive into this. After I remind you, we are on our road to 200,000 subscribers. So if you're enjoying this video and you're having a good time and you want to stay up to date on all things Nintendo, specifically with the Switch 2, all you got to do is subscribe right here. We will be live streaming the Tomodachi Life event on Thursday. We'll be live streaming the Direct next week as well. We have our podcast tomorrow. Maybe a live stream tonight. I don't want to promise that yet. But what I will say is we're almost to 162. We're getting there. We're creeping up. We're almost 30% the way there to our next 1,000 subscribers. All right, guys, let's go ahead and dive in. And first, we're going to go over Capcom's financials quick with a few posts from Stealth40K, who covered it. In 2026, Capcom plans to grow to over 4,000 employees for the first time in their history. And you can see this kind of consistent growth going on from 2021 all the way down to 2026. And they're going to be, about 8 developers, 12 developers more than they had last year in terms of game devs. So not all of these new hires are going obviously into the game development sector. You can see the increase here, but it is just interesting to see that Capcom continues to grow. Nintendo has been growing in a very similar fashion as well. That's usually a sign of companies being pretty healthy. Next up, we have updated series sales here for Capcom. So Resident Evil series has hit 183 million units. We know Requiem is almost here as well, so that's going to add to it. Monster Hunter series has hit 125 million. Street Fighter has hit 58 million. Mega Man at 44, and Devil May Cry at 38. Then you see the Dead Rising series at 19. Ace Attorney at 14. We know the new one of those is coming. Dragon's Dogma at 13. Marvel vs. Capcom at 13. Onimusha at 9. Okami at 4.8. Obviously, there's some other franchises, but these are ones they're still actively supporting, and Capcom wanted to highlight them. But more than that, we obviously have updated game sales for them, and that's one of the biggest things that we get out of these financial reports is game sales. And you can see here that their Q3 game sales, Monster Hunter Rise sold about 1.09 million, now reaching 18.27 million. Resident Evil 2 sold an additional 1.46 million, now getting almost to 17 million. Resident Evil 7 sold an additional 1.68 million, getting it almost to 16.5 million. Resident Evil Village sold 2.28 million, actually boosting that up to 13.5 million units there. Resident Evil 4 sold an additional 2.34 million, getting that up to 12.25. So the Resident Evil games doing really well for themselves. Devil May Cry sold an additional 2.42 million, getting to 11 million. It is notable a lot of these games, by the way, were on extreme discounts, of course, because they're a little bit older. Resident Evil 3 seeing another, 1.08 million that actually made it cross into the 10 million almost 11 million for Resident Evil 3. Monster Hunter Wilds added 991,000 last holiday, getting that up to 11.09. And then we have Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. It's an additional million sales there, getting up to 10.9 million. And then Street Fighter 6 got an additional 1.68 million, getting to obviously 6.36 million total. Obviously, you know, I really enjoy most of Capcom's offerings. We all know that Rise already has stuff in its code base suggesting they're working on it for Switch 2. Will it ever actually come out for Switch 2? That's a whole different story, but you know, we'll just have to wait and see. You know what we don't have to wait too long to see on, because it's already been announced? Virtual Boy coming to NSO. Feels weird talking about that in 2026. And I'm going to tell you right now, the Virtual Boy games aren't very good. I've played many of them, but now you can experience that part of Nintendo history for yourself very soon, because Nintendo has announced the launch lineup for the Switch Online Virtual Boy. And it says, those of you excited to relive the glory days of the Virtual Boy have only a few more weeks to wait until you can play them on the Switch Online, on Switch 1 and Switch 2 on the 17th of February. Today, Nintendo has dropped a brand new trailer, which you're already seeing here for the launch lineup. And there's 7 games will be available from the jump, with more to be added in the future. And these 7 games make up about a third of the library. I would venture to guess every single Virtual Boy game is going to get added to NSO. I don't think there's too many licensing issues to get them all over. Anyways, Galactic Pinball, Tellero Boxer, Red Alarm, Virtual Boy, Wario Land, 3D Tetris, Golf, and the Mansion of Innsmouth. It's a pretty healthy starting lineup there. And if we just say so ourselves, Wario Land felt like a day one given it, as did 3D Tetris. Of course, more are coming in the future, such as Mario Tennis, Jack Bros, and 2 never-before-released games in Zero Racers and Dragon Hopper. That's right, those games never actually made it out publicly before Virtual Boy got canceled. To play Virtual Boy games, you need to grab the Virtual Boy accessory for your console. Either the standard or cardboard version will do. However, there are suggestions out there that you might be able to enjoy Virtual Boy without the accessory. But for right now, until it's in our hands, we don't actually know. No, I do not have the accessory pre-ordered, the cardboard version or the plastic one. We'll see if I change my mind. I don't know. Part of me wants it just like as part of history, but also I don't really care, and I'm not really going to play the games again after experiencing them when I was younger, but whatever. It is what it is. It's coming. If you're interested, that's really cool. Also, if you're interested in using the Nintendo Music app, well, Nintendo has a new update for you. WarioWare's original soundtrack has been added to Nintendo Music, baby! That's right. It's featuring tracks such as Sci-Fi, Dribble and Spits, and Drifting Away Reality, Dr. Crygor Stage, and more. Holy crap, 356 total tracks for 2 hours and 15 minutes. That's right, all the tracks are pretty short. Oh my gosh, guys. Really, really cool stuff. Really glad to see WarioWare get added. There's a lot of funky tunes in that game. So now you can just listen to those funky tunes anytime you want. Hey, why don't we get into a big rumor for a AAA game coming to Switch 2? How about coming from Bill Cum, one of the most reliable retail-based leakers out there? Yeah, he's saying WWE 2K26 coming to Switch 2, platforms, release date, and what we know. Well, let's check this out. Every year, WWE 2K franchise is appearing in a new installment of the popular wrestling game. To generate hype, the game's official social media pages have posted several teasers about its upcoming announcement. They also revealed the covers for the Attitude Era, Monday Night War, and King of the Ring editions. While waiting for the announcement on January 30th, 2026, fans are growing impatient and wondering, will WWE 2K26 offer a Switch 2 version available at launch, unlike WWE 2K25? And most importantly, will the game also be released on PS4 and Xbox One? Fortunately, our research has provided us with some answers to these questions. Even better, we've been able to confirm the game's release date. All right, here we go. So, according to our information, WWE 2K26 will be released Friday, March 13th, 2026. We can also confirm the game will be available on Switch 2 on the same date. Yes! Yes! Look, guys, I might not actually be getting this game. I just get really excited seeing third parties finally give Switch 2 basic treatment. And that is launching the same day as everyone else. So, all right, let's go back to the news here. Furthermore, a physical version is planned for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and Switch 2. We'll talk about that in a moment here. Sorry. It sounds exciting to say that out loud, but just wait. On the latter, the game is expected to be a code inbox. That's not a physical version, guys. That's a code in box version. Sorry, I get really perturbed when they call it a physical, but it's really a code in box. Anyways, that's what they did with WWE 2K25. Meaning a cartridge won't be included. The game will, of course, be available digitally on PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, and Switch 2. However, uncertainty remains around a potential PS4 and Xbox One, so they were not able to find any proof it's coming to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, but they did discover it's coming to Switch 2, the release date, and it's going to be their day one, and it's going to be a code in box. I hate the code in box part. Hated it last year as well. Still really excited, though, to see full AAA games coming to Switch 2, day and date with the other versions. That's what we want to see moving forward. I know that's going to be probably more normal in 2027 than this year, but it still matters to me that we see more and more games doing this, just like Resident Evil Requiem, and hopefully many others coming this year. All right, next up, I said there was an update for Kirby Air Riders. Again, very weird because there's a new mode being added after Sakurai said they're done with content. So Kirby Air Riders receives a substantial version. That's right, they didn't even call it 2.0. It's 1.3. Well, look at these patch notes. Game share is supported. That makes a lot of sense to be something they just add in. And then a new game mode. This is what I mean. New content, man. A new game mode, Grand Prix, is now available for air ride matches in paddocks. Players will participate in multiple races where the winner will be determined by overall points. There's a new rule set as well with the sub-in series. It's now available in the paddocks. This allows for continuous matches while subbing in players. Really great, by the way, for live streamers. That's a really nice live streamer feature where you can kind of sub people in and out without having to leave. I like that. Two players can now participate in paddocks and quick matches from a single Nintendo Switch 2 system. A popular search condition in the buy section of the machine market has been changed to random. The Transform Stars bike type form can now be edited in the My Machine Apply decal screen. You can now delete individual records for each machine in Personal Best. Previously, when swapping to a vacant machine or stealing a machine while your special could have been triggered, in City Trial, your special gauge would decrease. Now the special gauge will be maintained, which I feel like was probably the intent the whole time. The lock-on range when swapping to a vacant machine in City Trial has been adjusted. In City Trial, you can now tilt the left stick down or press the down button to discard a copy ability without triggering your special. The version is now displayed in the lower left corner of the screen after crossing the finish line in Time Attack, and withdrawing or otherwise disconnecting during online match in a friends-only paddock will no longer subject you to penalties. And then they obviously did some performance adjustments here and all of that, and some bug fixes because, of course, he did say the team will be disbanding quite soon, but it is just crazy. They said content complete at launch, and then they decided to add even more. What are you going to do, man? Sakurai is a madman. He doesn't know how to stop. All right. You know what also got a surprise update with new features? Splatoon 3 has hit version 11.0.0. This is literally off Nintendo's website. So what is going on? Let's zoom in and read this properly. So it's going to be available on the 29th, so this Thursday. And you can see one of the new features is this Flow Aura. Inklings and Octolings who splat multiple opponents in quick succession will enter a new state called Flow Aura. As this state is activated, a burst of ink will paint the ground around the player, and you can kind of see it here in action. Here's your quick succession. You get your triple kill. Boom, you got the aura, the paint comes around you. Okay, so that's what it looks like, but what happens when you're in the aura besides the paint splash? Well, Floor Aura lasts for about 30 seconds, during which time players will get a boost to their run speed, swim speed, ink resistance, and intensify action. But if you make use of those boosts to splat more opponents or assist your teammates in doing so, you can extend the duration of Flow Aura even further. Each successive splat in Flow Aura will also reactivate the ink overflow, painting the ground around your feet once again. So there's even more incentive to splat as many opponents as you can. Inking the ground and helping your teammates get splats will make it easier for you to enter Flow Aura when defeating multiple opponents in a row. Splatting opponents who themselves are in Flow Aura will help too. So work with your teammates to take advantage and give your counterattack some added punch. And this is a big change. They're adding a health bar. So with version 11.0, it's now possible to see an opponent's remaining health when they've been hit. Previously, you could only see how damaged an enemy was by looking closely at how much ink they were covered in. Not so easy to do in the heat of battle. So here's what they did. I honestly don't know why this hasn't been in Splatoon the entire time. So yeah, pretty cool. Obviously, it's only when you hit them, but still it gives you a good idea how close you are. Also will increase the frustrations if you get splatted when they have like one sliver left on the health bar. We all know about that. Hit detection has changed a bit. Some changes are easy or difficult it is to hit opponents. The area around an opponent, known as a hitbox, has been made slightly smaller when in swim form. Since the original Splatoon on Wii U, a little leeway was built into the size of the hitbox as players got used to aiming with motion controls. As players have become more adept, this has become less important. The adjustment in version 11.0.0 makes the hitbox similar to that of the hitbox in kid form. Makes a lot of sense, to be completely honest, that they adjusted the hitbox. I think that this is just needed. Probably should have been this way the whole time. But it's no fun if it's too difficult to hit opponents. So some changes have also been made to the hitboxes of players' shots. Shorter range main weapons have much larger, bigger hitboxes, while longer range weapons have only had their hitboxes slightly increased. So they made some adjustments. Obviously, you know, we'll see how it plays out on the battlefield and how people like it. But look at that, another big update. Now we get to a leak for the Nintendo Direct. And this comes directly from the developers of a certain game. And it's crazy that we basically have the Direct confirmed at this point because of this. And it is a Switch 2 exclusive game. It was posted on a Chinese website. Orbitals will appear in the next Nintendo Direct. It's on this website here, but the comment itself, it was a comment. It has been deleted, so we can't even look at it anymore. However, there has been captured information about this whole time. So apparently the developers of Orbitals, which is the Switch 2 exclusive, posted on Bilibili that the game will appear in the first Nintendo Direct of 2026. They have since deleted the post, which of course they did because they should not be publicly talking about it. But yeah, Orbitals, guys. Orbitals has looked incredible. It looks really fun, and it is a Switch 2 exclusive. Always fun to see. And look, it basically confirms the Direct is coming. So take that for what you will. They made an oopsie. They deleted their comment probably because Nintendo yelled at them. But, you know, it is what it is. When you say things on the internet, it's captured forever. Now, one last little leak for you guys. This comes from NSO. This could be in the next Direct as well. It comes from Walmart. You see over on the Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit, hey, new NSO games were leaked via the Walmart promo. So what are we talking about? Well, Pikmin 2 and Metroid Prime 2. Let's look at the image. This image is from Walmart. You can see Pikmin 2 right here, right? That was not previously announced. And you see Metroid Prime Echoes. These were not previously announced for NSO, so it does look like Walmart leaked stuff. But Nintendo has accidentally, or maybe intentionally, I don't know, leaked stuff for NSO as well that wasn't announced before, with those N64 boxes being blurred in the background. So, you know what? Like, leaks for NSO are a thing. Nintendo's accidentally leaked them out there, or maybe intentionally. I have no idea if they meant to do that. Obviously, Walmart has now done it. It is what it is, guys. Things are wild out here in the world of the internet. So that's going to do it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the bevy of news. We had timestamps for everything. Obviously, we had some Nintendo Direct related goodness. I'm so excited, not just to get to the Tamagotchi Life Direct, but get to next week, Wednesday, when Nintendo finally announces the first big Nintendo Direct of 2026. Super stoked for that. Really excited to play games. There's so many games. I already have a few on my backlog I'm trying to get through. And then in addition, so many new upcoming games I'm interested in as well. I definitely would say when people tell me there's nothing to play on Switch 2, I'm like, look, if you only play Nintendo exclusives, I suppose you're waiting for Mario Tennis. But guys, there's so many other video games out there. You guys know Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate just dropped. It's $40. Guys, Mio dropped. It's a really good game. Indie title. Affordable. I'm just saying there's options out there for games, guys. There's so much stuff to play. Just got to expand your horizons sometimes. Or not. And just wait for the next big Nintendo exclusive, which is Mario Tennis Fever next month. All right, everyone. I am Nathaniel Rumpelchance from Nintendo Prime. I want to thank all of you guys for tuning in. And as always, we'll catch you in the next video.